A pleasant day, everyone. I'm researcher John Aaron Go, presenting to you our study, the utilization of guyabano pills or Annona muricata as a low-cost bioadsorbent for heavy metals in wastewater treatments, together with my co-researchers, Mr. Hans Toledo and Mr. John Paul Remedios. Water resources in the world have been profoundly influenced over recent years by human activities, whereby the world is currently facing critical water supplies and drinking water quality problems. And heavy metals which is present in these water resources can potentially become harmful due to their high solubility in aquatic environments. Illegal settlements in the Davao City, specifically in the Davao River Basin, produce untreated wastewaters. And in order to solve this issue, a variety of heavy metal methods from aqueous solutions are already available. However, this technology has significant limitations. Absorption, on the other hand, is preferred above the other methods because of its simple operation, lack of sludge, and low cost. Guyabano, also known as soursop, can be categorized as a multifunction fruit in the medicine field. It is adaptable to tropical climates and are currently cultivated for its fruits in Southeast Asia, countries such as Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines. The white edible pulp of the guyabano corresponds to about 67.5% of the total weight of the fruit, which is composed of water, protein, lipid, and carbohydrates, also fibers, according to Badri and Shahs in 2010. Therefore, this research was conducted to provide a low-cost adsorbent of heavy metals in wastewater areas and evaluate the performance of guyabano in terms of adsorbing the removal of heavy metals. And that sums up the introduction to our study, and for our methodology would be further discussed by my fellow co-researchers.
Methodology. This research uses quantitative study analysis in which it will undergo several procedures as follows. First is the obtaining of the guyabano pills. The researcher will buy guyabano pills and it will be dried for a week. It will have three different forms. The first is the longitudinal sections of the dried guyabano pills. Second are the small pieces of the guyabano pills. And the third section will be powdered like guyabano pills. Second step will be the collection of contaminated water with heavy metals. The sample will be collected from three different places that have polluted water. Each will have 1 liter sample. Third process will be the preparation of guyabano pills filter layers. The first layer will be 1 kilogram of 20 mm gravel for support. It will be washed completely to avoid uncertainties and it will be placed uniformly above the geotextile cloth. For the second layer, it will consist of 500 grams of fine sand above the geotextile cloth over the first layer of gravel. The third layer will be the powdered guyabano pills. 500 grams of it will be placed above the geotextile cloth over the second layer. Fourth layer will be unactivated carbon. It will be washed and dried. 500 grams of ashby-free activated carbon will be spread above the textile cloth. Fifth layer will be 500 grams of 2 to 3 small pieces of the adsorbent. For the sixth layer of the model will be the longitudinal section of the guyabano pills. The outer green layer of the pills will be scraped and serve as the upper layer of the setup. For the next procedures will be discussed by my co-researcher.
The next steps for the methodology are the batch adsorption experiment, statistical analysis, and the waste disposal. For the batch adsorption experiment, it will be performed using the filter models. A total of 9 filter models will be used for each of the 3 contaminated water samples. 250 ml of the contaminated water samples will be applied to each of the filter models. The treated and untreated water samples will be taken to the laboratory for analysis. Next is the statistical analysis. The researchers will use analysis of variance or ANOVA to analyze the data. Lastly, for the waste disposal, the materials on the guyabano filter model will be taken, and the biodegradable leftovers will be disposed properly. The containers in the filter model will be cleaned and recycled for furthermore use. Thank you for listening. The researchers are now open to any inquiry, commendations, and clarifications regarding the research proposal.
why you chose to test the property, the adsorbent property of guyabano?
So, Giovanna, sir, and adsorption method, properties like pectin, mostly from citric fruits, and lignocellulosic properties nga needed for absorbing heavy metals, sir, is present po sa pomelo. And since ang other citric fruits, sir, is na-use na siya sa other researches na among nakita.
Okay, very good. Any other answer or any other backup? Yes, Remedios or Toledo? Go.
Ang lignocellulosic properties and pectin is already present as giingon ni Go, pero ang ilahang components is pretty much lower than the reported components of the other parts in guyabano guyabano po, sir. So we consider to use the guyabano, sir.
What specific heavy metal you would like to absorb using your guyabano peel? Because we have several heavy metals. So what specific heavy metal would you want to absorb?
Chromium, cadmium, mercury, lead, nickel, and thallium, sir, na pinakataas og solubility sa aquatic environments.
Okay. So do you think the water sample that you are going to get from where will you get your water sample? Yes, Hans.
Based naman na sabutan, sir, is also from rivers and also freshwater areas pa in which may contaminated water Japan na contain heavy metals. So, pag namin nakuhaan is or mag-example, then mangita pa mig duha ka lugar, local areas, pud some.
Okay. Remedios, kasi when you chose a water sample, it needs to have these heavy metals. So for example, if you want to test the absorbent capacity of your peel in a specific water source, it needs to have a presence of the heavy metal because when you test that water sample and then you tested that no presence of heavy metals were detected on the water sample, then sayang, it will be a loss of the funds during the initial testing of the water. So this is a suggestion. You need to make it sure that this water sample really has the heavy metal component. So you need to do a literature review or search in which of these sources of water na may makikita tayong heavy metal presence. Kasi this is a heavy metal uptake of your guyabano peel doon sa isang water source. So kung walang heavy metal na makikita doon sa isang water source na pagkukunan ninyo, so masasayang ang initial testing na gagawin ninyo kasi I believe it's a pre-test, parang it's a pre and post assessment of the water sample after you have treated your water with the guyabano peel. Tama ba, Remedios?
Yes, sir. Pero ang water samples namong kuan, sir, is from the past research study na which gikan lang pud sa Davao na gikuhaan nila na naa na day present sa sir heavy metals. So like gikan siya sa last studies, sir, na pangitaw na mo kung unsa na mga lugar ang with the highest amount of heavy metals present sa water, sir. And also, sir, dili lang specific na inani ang ang heavy metals na makita sa isa ka area, murag laylay na heavy metals makita sa different areas, sir. That's why nagaplano mi na mag-take sa different areas para makita na mo kung unsa ang mga metals na ma-absorb niya more sa mga adsorbent, sir.
Okay. So what about in handling the material? Kasi when you have these water samples and then you have the heavy metals are toxic. So you need to handle it with care. How do the researchers will ensure that you are going to follow the standard of handling these water samples? Ano yung gagawin ninyo in the conduct of the research na sure kayo na safe ang collection ninyo on the water samples, considering that based on literature, these water samples have a presence on heavy metals? Paano gagawin ng mga researchers ang safety na standard in the water collection? Can you share?
May mga guidelines sa heavy metal collection po, sir, na nakalagay sa different researches, sir. And mag-base lang may dito sir if how siya i-collect sir based po sa different places na mong kuan sir which is like reported siya na lahi ang heavy metal sa presence diri on lahi po diri sir, so different handling methods ang kailangan namo sir para makuha siya safely sir.
So, why did you intend to do this research? Why not the other researches? Why this research is the plan?
Sa amuang study last year siguro. Last year sir, nag-focus mi sa water treatment sir and different kinds of water treatment sir, and ang amuang goal mismo ato is to clean and to purify water water areas sa Davao City sir, and mostly sa Davao River sir naidagan na kanang heavy metal sa present dra sir. Then gikan sa daghan na heavy metals contaminated areas sir, nag siya into one sa Davao River sir, so ang goal yun naman is to clean or to remove the heavy metals or other impurities sir. Then hunahuna na mo na isa sa pinaka effective na method para sa pagtanggal sa heavy metal sir isang adsorption. So nag-focus na lang mi sa adsorption sir about a specific plant sir which is kaning guyabano.
So how many replicates are you planning to conduct in your research?
Ang plano sir is magbuhat mig 9 filter models sir. Then
Okay.
each sa collection namo sa tulo ka water areas sir na highly contaminated from heavy metals is magbutang pud og isa-isa sa kada tulo sir. So 9 filter models then tulo ka samples sir.
Okay. So you need to study, this is a suggestion, you need to study on the guidelines of the water collection for heavy metals, and that is correct. And what about in the use of these filter models? Do you have a prototype or do you have a guide on how to develop this parang material? Meron ba kayong nakita na mga published studies related to development of filters? Yes, go ahead, Toledo.
Based sa mong kuan na teachers is nakakita may kuan na nagagamit sila inani na model in which naga-layers pud sila for filtering out the heavy metals. So naisipan na lang po namo na kaniyang gamiton na kuan para dili na may maglisod mangitag laing methods.
Okay. So do you think that's also a standard method, Toledo, to copy or to replicate, parang to follow in the conduct of your research? Do you have a source for that, parang a reliable source, that this is a reliable method to follow for this research interest?
Yes sir, ang ilang more focus sir is ang model mismo sir, ang creation sa model, and it is like standard na siya sir na model, pero ang iyang changes lang is ang component or ang adsorbent mismo, like guyabano ilaha lang kay corn cobs and different kinds like citrus fruits na gipangbutang na nila gisagon nila sa sa component sa filter model ng buhaton sir.
Okay, very good. So,